I did as he asked, turning onto a mostly empty road. Early Tuesday afternoons, as gray and cold and miserable as this one, don't often see a lot of traffic. We got him. Am I off the clock then? Seeing as how you can't take photos worth a damn on your phone and there's no room on that ridiculous vehicle for a camera bag, yes, we'll have someone else stake out the stopping point. Given the number of motels, hotels, and B&Bs in the direction that Audi had been heading, the couple with cheating on their minds was limited only by their budget and imagination. And since it was a late model Audi with what appeared to be lots of bells and whistles, budget didn't seem like a problem. "Thank you, Mr. Dixon," said an unfamiliar voice. The wife who was, even now, being humiliated while her husband broke vows they'd made together. She seemed to be holding it together well. "You're welcome, Mrs. Jackson," I said. "We're signing off now, Jack," Jason said. Then the line went dead. Suddenly the rain felt a lot colder, and I was glad to be heading home. Chapter 2. Home wasn't exactly warm, though. There were only so many hatches I could shut and tarps I could put up, and I didn't like running the heater too hot or too long. Not least because if I did, Marty, the manager who handled my arrangement with the marina, would realize I was home and probably come bother me about helping him with something. Technically, a certain number of hours of manual labor a month were a part of my rent. I entertained myself by avoiding it at all costs. So it was a bit chilly inside the bell of Joppa this time of year, and in another month or so, shipboard living might become entirely untenable unless I made some investments in equipment or was prepared to run the climate control a lot more than I liked to. Last winter was the first I'd lived aboard her, and I had been lucky enough for it to be a mild one. Still, in layers, a t-shirt, a thick thermal Henley, a fleece vest, the drumming of the rain outside my sealed compartments wasn't entirely unpleasant. The prospect of Thanksgiving being only a week and 2 days away didn't precisely thrill me, though. I was certainly expected to show up at my family dinner, at my parents' house in Perry Hall, but I was starting to think that things were going too well for me to bother spending any time around my dad. I'd have to think on that some more, but for now, I decided to think about the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That was the day I truly looked forward to, the bomb after dealing with my dad. But before that could get here, I had an important question to ask. I was, even now, beginning preparations in that vein. The bar was open, and a pair of cocktails were taking shape in the galley. I squeezed out some blood orange halves, then pressed ice spheres, really ice Death Stars if I were being completely honest, into the oranges, so that the peel enveloped half the ice. I placed one in each glass, then I mixed bourbon, smoked tea liqueur, and bitters with ice in the shaker. A few seconds of brisk mixing later, and I was pouring the 2 drinks through a strainer, over the ice and blood orange. I clicked on a few electric candles, no open flames on my bell, and then retrieved a wide-brimmed fishing hat, my raincoat, and an umbrella from where I'd stashed them, and headed out into the parking lot. When a silvery blue Honda pulled up, I was already standing by with the umbrella open. Jen got out in her own ankle-length raincoat and immediately ducked under it. "You know, Jack, dinner nights on your boat seemed a lot more romantic in October weather than they do now." "I bet I can change your mind," I said, as we walked the short distance to my slip. Once we both got inside and had our rain jackets off and the umbrella and hat safely stowed, I took just one moment to look at her. Even at the end of a workday, with rain flattening her short blonde hair and the fatigue of the office wearing on her, Geneva Lawton was a beautiful woman. She'd let her hair grow a little, although even dry and loose it wouldn't have reached her chin. Her cheeks were smooth, the tan she cultivated with weekly running started to fade since it was late fall, but her skin still had a glow. Her eyes were large and brown and deep and focused on me, for reasons I could not really fathom. I handed one of the cocktails to her. "What's this?" she said, smelling it, still eyeing me over the rim. "A ghost story," I said. "Blood orange, bourbon, smoked tea liqueur." She took a sip. She smiled. My heart did a little flip. She turned around a little.